So today, what we're going to be discussing is we're going to be discussing what the issues are of endogenous melatonin, understanding what it means to be a chronobiotic, understanding the phase shifts and potential exogenous melatonins, and the physiological effects of melatonin. We're going to differentiate between immediate and sustained release. Now, a lot has been said specifically about what is immediate release and sustained release. Well, sometimes sustained release, what that means is it continues to produce a certain amount of melatonin. Depending on particular habits, we may want a spike of it, we may want a continuous release of it, and we have different types of products that release it at different times, depending on the presentation. We're going to do a little bit of review on the literature. We're going to discuss how melatonin affects our aging process. We're going to gain awareness as to foods that are linked to improving melatonin reactions. We're also going to be talking about some lab works that we do, and ultimately that give us particularly the insights as to how melatonin responds in our bodies and what the patterns are of melatonin in our particular dynamics. Finally, we're going to end with the COVID dynamics, which is explain why so many doctors, including the president of the United States, which was at the time Trump, who got infected with COVID, they gave him certain types of antivirals, but they talked about the fact that they also gave him melatonin, and that was real odd, along with zinc and vitamin D. Those are other subject matters, but that was a question. Why was melatonin being given to them? So we hope to clarify a little bit of that information, but we're first going to talk a little bit about what the purpose is of melatonin. But no conversation begins better with melatonin unless we can talk about where it starts, where it regulates our bodies, and where the beginning is that actually it kind of controls us. Now, dating back from hundreds of years ago, you see the old Egyptians have the old third eye thing going on. And what I have to tell you is that much of the sciences that modern medicine understands today can relate back to the early knowledge because they kind of sensed it. There is a feeling that when you do have melatonin running real well, there's a sense of well-being that happens. You feel kind of like your brain is being perfused, and the way your body moves and the way the body reacts to certain chemicals as well as experiences is adapted by early morning experiences. For our treatments, we're going to be talking about light therapies. We're going to be talking about the timing of our therapies, and they're going to make a big difference. But like I said, it's one of those things we want to learn anatomy to understand where this is coming from because it gives a little bit better perception. So from that point of view, I like explaining a little bit of the effects. Now, as you see here, it has a large effect on many organ systems, okay, from the liver to the kidneys to the heart. It's crazy how much the information to the ability of the temperature sensor systems of the body. So as we go through here, we start looking at the dynamics, and let me go ahead and change my picture. We talk about melatonin, okay, as what it is. Now, we know that it's in the retina, it's in the GI tract, it's in the bone marrow, it's in the blood, the receptors to this area, and it's where it's actually produced, and you have. Secretion is regulated by the suprachiasmatic nuclei. That's what we were just talking about, of the hypothalamus, okay? It's like the master clock. I like looking at it like it's the master third eye, okay, so to speak. Okay, so in that, what we can look at it, we can see
12 o'clock.
Oh, there's my clock. It's also 12 o'clock, guys. Sorry, guys. The drop is dramatic in the AM hours, okay, and usually it's lowered by light, and it has an antithesis or another hormone that it works with, which is cortisol, and it works in inverse relationship with. So light activates the cortisol. Okay, think about this. Now, the cortisol lives on our adrenals, which is a little organ on top of our kidneys, right? So it's way down there. Now, it's always talking to the hypothalamus. It's going when do you want to go? When do you want to go? When do you want to launch? Right? And the melatonin goes, no, not now, not now, not now. No, stay down. Cortisol, the increase is going to wake us up, right? And melatonin is going to bring us down. So why would we want cortisol levels to be elevated, okay, in the middle of sleep. So we're going to see that the inverse relationship between cortisol and melatonin is critical to be able to not only launch the sleep patterns, but also launch the immune system, right? And launch the inflammatory system as the way it works, right? So when we look at those kind of things, we start looking at these areas as to when it actually relays. Now, here we have a graph of where melatonin actually elevates at. You'll start noticing that it starts working its way up around 8 o'clock at night, okay? Now, peaking its levels somewhere about 3 to 4 hours later at around 3 in the morning.